So Mike, you've been in this industry for a while, and the top dogs, those who are making a lot of money as real estate investors, what do you think is their secret formula?
They really have two secret formulas. Number one, they're always looking for properties. In this industry, you always have to be looking. But number two, we rely on money to make money in this industry. They have all the options open to them to make sure when a deal comes up, they can not only buy it, but they could fund it, they could get it done, they could get it sold the way they want it. When opportunity strikes, they're ready with money to buy that opportunity.
Okay, so they're always looking for properties. That's the first formula. The second one is they're ready to be able to buy those properties because they have their lending figured out.
Yep, and that's what I wanted to go over today. What's their secret to making sure they get the good deals, that they're always the one that the wholesaler calls or the realtor? They're the ones who get lucky because they put themselves in a position to always be buying when someone brings them something.
Gotcha. And I know we were talking about it. You called it a funding stack, right?
Yep. So what are the options they have? We're going to go over today the 6 different options that people should always have available, and that really the top dogs, even if they've already got to the point where they don't need other people's money, that's how they built it. But there always is that deal that comes up where they still need to go back to what got them there and where the funds come from. This is where you need to be the position to pick up the good deals that create that exponential wealth and income, because those good deals where people are picking up 80 grand instead of 20 grand, that's really where they jump to next levels because they're building equity faster and cash flow faster.
Okay, so what's the first one then?
Number one, if you're starting out or you've been in forever, you're going to need real OPM, which is other people's money. That means family, friends, other people in the real estate industry. People are just looking for a better return. And the reason is because it comes with no credit checks, no income checks. If you could show them a good deal, this group of people are willing to lend you the money without all the hoops. So the people who are making the most, who've done the best as they go through the real estate career, are people who have at least a bucket of other people's money, real people's money that they could call and just say, hey, I need 20 grand for the down payment. I need some money to finish this project. Or I just need to buy this property. I'll cover everything else. The flexibility there gets them those properties that everyone else covets.
And then to be clear, the reason that people would be down for that is because they're going to get, a return on that investment.
Yeah, great question. They could go to a bank and maybe get 3 to 5% right now. And you as a borrower, you could probably give them 8 to 12%, still save you money because you're not paying points typically. You're not paying all those other fees. So you could skip a few things and get cheaper money and they get a better return.
Oh yeah, it sounds like a win-win.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so what was number 2 then in this funding stack?
Number 2, what every real estate investor should have, and I just talked to 6 people in the last 24 hours about these, is HELOCs. You need a HELOC on your property if you live in it, and your rental properties if there's equity in it. Because just like a credit card, at any time you could go and withdraw the money, once again for down payments, fix up, or just to buy a property. I was just working with a client from North Carolina, owns a property free and clear. Getting a HELOC put on there because she wants to start buying fix and flips with a HELOC. Why? Because there's no points when she takes it out. She pays a wire fee. She can wire it out whenever she wants. In her case, there's actually going to be a debit card connected to her HELOC. So when she's fixing up a property, she goes to Home Depot, runs it through, it goes on her HELOC. The great part about a HELOC is it's always available funds. Once again, you don't have to go every time and send in an application, get an appraisal. You want something, you buy it, or you need the money for the down payment to fix up. The flexibility is what you need in real estate investing.
Okay, so real OPM, and then HELOCs, home equity lines of credit. And so how about number 3?
Number 3 is business credit cards. And all 3 of these give you flexibility without every time going to a lender and asking them for permission. But
yeah, I'm seeing the trend.
Yeah, we talk about real business credit cards because so many people get into this business and they use their personal credit cards just because it's easy. I want to make sure people understand business credit cards that I'm talking about is the exact same cards they have now. It's just in their business name, so it does not report to their credit. Makes life easier on the other side when they're getting bank loans and everything because it's not impacting their credit score. So when we're talking about these are people who get business credit cards in their business name. It's not all the hoops of creating commercial credit and all that stuff. If you have a good credit score and you have a business, you could get a business credit card in the business's name. That does not report to your credit, so you're not going to impact the next few things that we're going to go over, which are your longer term or your bigger loans.
Yeah, that's huge that it doesn't report to your personal credit. So we've got real OPM, we've got HELOCs, we've got business credit cards. And so what's the next one in our funding stack?
So let's just pretend like we're starting out. So the next journey would be a hard money lender. Someone who's not going to look at credit, your experience, and maybe lend you a little bit more money. I just call these buckets of money. So I have a bucket over here, OPM, I have a HELOC, I have business credit cards. I also have a hard money lender available to me if I find a flip or if I want 100% for BRRRR. Someone who has a little more flexibility will go outside the box, maybe if it's in a remote area. Hard money lenders will think outside the box more than banks or private lenders.
Yeah.
So you have to have at least in your buckets of money a hard money lender who's going to be able and flexible for the deals that you're going to come across.
I hear you, yeah. Hard money does sound more flexible.
Yep.
So number 5, what is that?
Number 5, you're going to need private lenders. Kiavis, the big national companies out there, you're going to need those in your tool belt to buy the flips and to buy the rental properties. And the reason you need them is, unlike a bank, they're not going to go through all your tax returns. They're not going to go through all that. They're going to still require some money down. And that's why we did those first 3, because we want some OPM that maybe comes in and helps us with the down payment or carry costs, or we want the HELOC that can pay for some of those because we're filling in the gaps. The private lenders, the Kiavis, the RCNs, the Lima ones, Cap Fund One, they're going to come in and give you 90% typically of the purchase and 100% of the rehab. But you're going to need some money in that whole process. And they're not going to be like banks in the sense of, I need tax returns, I need someone to come out and do an inspection and all these other things. They're going to be more flexible than a bank and less costly than hard money. So they kind of fit your next level of, let's get them. They're not going to be able to move quickly. The nice thing about hard money, if I needed to close something in 3 or 4 days and I know a hard money lender, that could happen. Private lenders, typically they need that 2 to 3 weeks to close. So that's why you need all of these things lined up to make sure you're ready for any opportunity that comes along.
I see. So that's why you have the different funding buckets, is based on the context, based on the opportunity.
Yep. I want something for everything. I want some down payment money. I want some carry costs, which is your monthly interest payments. I want the money to help fix it up. All of those things at my control, instead of waiting for a private lender to come out and do an inspection, make sure everything is done right before I pay my contractors. I want things done fast, because that's the other thing that the big people in real estate do. They get in, they get out, they get it done right, but they get it done fast. All of these buckets help you get there.
They keep the ball rolling. And so in order to do that, you need different types of flexibility for different situations.
This is a money-intense business, so you need money coming from anywhere and everywhere you can.
Is there another one after private lenders?
There's local banks that love real estate investing, and typically you'll find that the rates are a little lower, maybe the points, all those things, but it just takes longer. Maybe if you're looking at a pop top or you're looking at something that has a little more time involved in it, you could do it. Or even lines of credit, because you might own a couple properties free and clear, and they could just give you a line of credit to buy stuff. Local banks, typically smaller banks, like I said, you need to start from A to B. You need the real OPM, you need the HELOCs, you need the business credit cards, hard money, private money, and banks. It takes some time to build this. That's why I said it's not like starting out in 3 months you're there. You got to build this over time, which means start with OPM, because if you know people, they're more flexible. Hard money is more flexible. Credit cards, if you have a good credit score, you could get those. If you have a property, HELOCs are pretty simple. And it opens the doors for everything else.
The private lenders and the banks.
Yep. And it opens the doors for people who are selling properties to know that you have the money available to buy something quickly if they need to sell it. That's typically where the good deals are. Someone needs to sell something fast, and they don't want to go through all the hoops. So you have to be available and willing and able to close on that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, that like the good deals are where people are willing to not make as much money if you're the seller because they just want it to be done.
Yeah.
And so if you have the ability to do it quickly, which that makes sense, you'd have these different buckets based on the situation, then you can be the one that gets that good deal.
Correct. You're going to create the wealth. You're going to take those jumps. Like I said, instead of making 20 or 25 on a deal, you make 80. And you do that 4 or 5 times, wealth increases. Or you're using them for rentals. You're buying them at 100 instead of 150. You're buying stuff better because you get to the point where you're a lot pickier, as deals come out. But the people selling know they can always call you because you're going to close. And that's where the big people in real estate are. They have people calling them all the time, hey, I have this good deal, because they know they'll close and not run them through all the hassles of a traditional loan.
Well, thanks, Mike. Where can people go to learn more about this?
Check us out at thecashflowcompany.com. There's a lot of great tools there. We have a deal analyzer. We have, in this case, we even have a download money buckets where they could go through and look at all the different money buckets and some details about them and all that stuff. So if you want to learn a little bit more about this, check us out, thecashflowcompany.com.
Awesome. Thanks.